part of the power bill will soon go down for many customers in Maine, though another portion of the bill is going up. The Maine Public Utilities Commission announced today that it has approved standard offer rates that will impact residential and small and medium class customers of Central Maine and Versant Power. The reduction is 1 cent per kilowatt hour, which should mean an average savings of about $5.50 per month for a typical customer. The change only impacts customers who receive standard offered supply. The new rate takes effect on July 15th. However, new higher rates for transmission and distribution take effect tomorrow. The increase means customers will see that portion of their bills go up about $1.67 per month for an average residential customer, again using 550 kilowatt hours per month.